Sup, Chaos1072 here for another Chaos Toy review. Today taking a look at GC11 Grateful Damashii from the Kamen Rider Ghost Change series. Now you may be saying that, jokingly, that's clearly Ore with the hood down. Yes, because that's what it comes with. Let's take a quick look at the packaging. We'll get to the figure in a second. Here we have Grateful. A shot of Grateful suit. GC011, I imagine Grateful is somewhere in this text. Kind of a little thing of how the figure works. Again, how the figure works, all the Ghost Change stuff up to this point. So, and just as a note, in here there is a little advert for Premium Bandai, Himiko, and Newton GC release, or PBGC01. And then Grateful. And here's a little cardboard plastic insert where it holds a hoodie and the figure. So let's take a look at Grateful, or Ore in this case. Now you're going to notice a couple things. This clearly has something hanging off his butt. We'll get into that. But it does come with a hood down version of Ore and a slightly lengthened back piece or a faceplate, and it's a hoodie down version. So you would just slide that on and it functions just like every other parka. Has little like arms, but essentially is a retooled Ore. So let's get into how to turn this into what is clearly Grateful, but standard parka. So here we have the base figure. Now, not hindered in any way, it is the same. Although, when you do it in Ore, you do have to twist this bit over the elbow, and that just doesn't sit well with me, so I'm not showing that off. But if you did have it in Ore, you could bend it like that, but I do not. But same hips, same knee, same ball joint, two-fingered hands, well, two jointed hands, universal, that ball joint in the head, which doesn't amount to much in these figures. And different from the Ore is the back is painted. Now, I imagine you've seen some of the, symbols. So let's get into Grateful. So first, what you want to do is turn from the waist up, turn it 360. Well, 180. Nope, actually you want to keep the belt where it was and just turn from the waist. Makes it a lot easier. Now, this has a similar problem to Type Dead Heat, where it has two belts, so you can't really do much of an angled pose, but it is what it is. So once there, might as well do this part first. Just collapse this up on this joint. It doesn't really clip in like a traditional hoodie, but you are going to feel it grip something. What essentially is going on is there's two little inserts there that go into these little slots here. So I think you just heard the click there. So torso is done. So down to the legs, flip these side panels up. We'll take a good look at those in a minute. And from the thigh down, turn this around and then bring that forward. What is the calf forward, and then repeat here. So as you can see, the knee is its own separate joint and the calf is its own separate piece. So you just want to have these sitting on top of the knees. Now they don't clip in, they just kind of hold friction. And you're going to want to turn the arms around. So you have your elbows. Put these off to the side. I'm not really sure how off to the side they are. It looks like just straight. Yeah, clean off the side, not in the way of the elbow joint at all. Something like that. So here we have a much nicer looking Grateful Damashii. Now, one thing is the head really doesn't stick in place. What's holding it in is these, so you could probably pop it off and get all the head posability, but since it really doesn't have anything to hold on to, there's no mounter behind it, it's not going to stay on well, and you really don't need it, but I imagine you probably could. I'm just not going to try and fiddle around with hard plastic like that. So you do retain most of the posability. I mean, the shoulders do get in the way quite a bit. That's as high as you can get up. As far as you can get forward, since it's a little bit more open in the back, you can get it a little, quite the ways back. You will constantly have to be fiddling around with the head, unfortunately. You don't have as much of a swivel, but you could move it out of the way. Knee is unaffected. You do have swivel, you're just going to have to make sure you move the right part. And the steel ball joint. And one problem right there is if you put him too far forward, the armor is going to pop off. Now you can have him hold weapons, and I believe he can hold the Gun Saber in any of its modes. And the Sunglass Slasher Grateful is one of those forms that doesn't get his own weapon, which is surprising for a super, since the last few super forms have had their weapon carry on to the final form. But that's probably because, in terms of power, Grateful's big thing is that he summons the ghosts that make up his form, aka the 15 heroics, and they get their weapons. So that is that. So this is kind of a quick review, but do I recommend Grateful? Yes and no. If you're expecting a little bit more posability and something to work with, this is not the figure. But I will say it is a very nice looking figure and probably one of my favorite forms out of Ghost. In fact, it heavily reminds me of O's, and it has various elements of other headpieces from previous Damashii. You have his own horn. Obviously these horns are from Ryoma. Hard to see, but there's these little black, they're supposed to be black. I might touch them up a little bit. That's supposed to be Beethoven. This section right here is supposed to be Tutankhamun. It's supposed to be colored in a light blue. And obviously you have the horns, you have the head strap, which is, it has it detailed. It's supposed to be Billy the Kid. And then you have the sword hilt being Musashi. And I want to say these little pieces might be another Damashii, but I'm not sure. Someone could let me know. Feel free. And then you have all 15 Damashii symbols represented. Very nicely done on the figure. You have Musashi, Edison, Newton, Robin Hood. Then you have Nobunaga and Tutankhamun, Houdini, and as we said, Newton, Billy the Kid, Beethoven, Benkei. You have Grimm. You have Sanzo, Goemon, Himiko, and Ryoma. Now, there really doesn't seem to be much of a reasoning as to which is where and why they're grouped the way they are. I mean, the best thing I can think of is thieves. Obviously, Necrom's got to be somewhere, and they aren't exactly the most ornamental. The two ghosts he encountered in human form. His three kind of all depressed. Getting kicked by Spectre. Spectre's 3. And his, obviously Musashi being his first icon. One of his first and his other first icons. So his first 3 up here. Really don't understand why Robin Hood is down here at the leg. I mean, like I said, probably to go with Goemon being a thief, since in episode 24 he did summon them together for that very reason. So, yeah, and he can hold weapons, like I said, so he's not just a static figure, but just be warned, he does have his posability problems. But he is a very nice looking figure, and unfortunately, to me, that does not carry too much weight. It may do better for you, but I really dig the form. I dig the motif behind it. It works for me, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of this figure in particular, and what do you think of the Ghost line so far. Our future releases only consist of 2 figures, and we also have Himiko and Newton coming up in next following months. Not sure, because I think they're doing them in different waves. But we mainly have 2 known figures, being Deep Spectre, which we've seen. You know, the show, the actual release thing of it. And then we have Mugen, which we do not know what it looks like yet, which I'm excited for, although I don't think it's going to hit the same sort of awesome note that this form does. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Oyasumi!